Hey everyone, welcome back to MNMM PTE NAATI. This is Manmohit. Now guys, in today's video, it is going to be a very important one, especially for the repeat sentence topic, because this is one topic which is extremely important, but at the same time, many students struggle in this one because they're not really practicing it in the right way. So I do want to share a few things with all of you. So do take notes of that one as well. And if you need any sort of help and support with your PTE core or PTE academic, you can get in touch with us on either Instagram or Facebook. Links are in the description, or you can just search for M&MM PTE NAATI. You can find us over there, message us, and we can have a chat about how we can assist you. Looking at this video now, for the repeat sentence topic, major mistake students do is when they prepare for the repeat sentences, they think of repeat sentences as a memory task, as in they have to memorize the sentences. And that's where they are all wrong. Guys, understand one thing, repeat sentence is absolutely not a memory test. If it was a memory test, it would not have even been in the PT exam for so long, because then the arguments would have started. Pearson had to at one point do something about that topic and even eventually remove it if it was actually a memory test. But the reason it is still there in the exam, it still exists, because it actually tests your English language, and I completely abide by that. After this, I would be first sharing a video as well with all of you, just to explain you a bit better as to why am I saying that it's not a memory test and it's all about understanding the sentence. So do watch this video first, and then I'll be back with you just to explain few key pointers that we learned from that particular video.
There is a section where people repeat sentences. Isn't that just testing memory?
The sentence repeat item type, some people, when they first encounter that, think that that's a memory test. In fact, it's not an item type that we just made up. It's well established in the field of second language acquisition, SLA. It's a highly researched item type, and there is a body of research from psycholinguistics that shows that actually it is a test of language proficiency and not a test of memory. In fact, memory does play a very small part in it. If I were to ask you to repeat a sentence of 3 or 4 words, you may be able to repeat that just by parroting it, using your short-term memory and mimicking the sounds. Even though you don't understand it, you could probably repeat it. But the research shows that after 4 or 5 words long, you're no longer using your memory. Rather, what the test taker has to do is understand what they've heard, and then when they repeat it, they have to reconstruct it. Now, they can't do that unless they have familiarity with the lexical items they've encountered and the grammar in the sentence. So let's look at an example. If I say the sentence, it looks like it's going to rain tomorrow, so don't forget your umbrella. That's probably 12 or 13 words long. And for a native speaker, it's very easy to repeat. They would hear that and they would repeat that without too much trouble. But that's because they're not because they're using their memory, but because they've got thousands of hours of language learning experience. And they've encountered all those words many times before. They've encountered the language structures before. In fact, what they're doing is chunking familiar words together. It looks like it's going to rain tomorrow. Don't forget your. These are formulaic expressions which when native speakers speak English, they use all the time. And so they string them together without thinking about them very much. And when you're used to processing language in strings like this, it's very easy to say, I recognize that, and reproduce it. A language learner who is less familiar with those language strings is going to find it much more difficult to do that. One way to demonstrate this is to try it yourself in a different language. If you think it's a memory test, then try our Arabic test. And repeating a sentence in Arabic is a lot more harder than you think. We can do it right now. We can do it in Japanese. So I'm going to say the sentence in Japanese, and I'd like you to try and repeat it. So the same sentence is, It looks like it's going to rain tomorrow, so don't forget your umbrella. Ashita wa eme so desu kara, kasa o motte te wasuranai de kudasai. Please repeat that. Now, when I give this task to most people, for one thing, they can't repeat it. Sometimes they can repeat the last word, kudasai, because that's as much as their memory allows them to repeat. By the way, I apologize to any Japanese speakers out there for my bad Japanese. This body of research we have, and our own experiences of working with this item type, tells us that it's a very good predictor of grammatical knowledge, of proceduralization of grammar skills, lexical comprehension, and also articulatory information such as fluency and pronunciation.
So I hope you would have watched this by now. So the key point, so what's the key takeaway from this one? As you could see, the moment someone gives you a sentence in a different language, a language which you are unaware of, which you do not really speak in your day-to-day life, the moment they even give you a sentence which is worth 8 words, the smallest one that you can get in the exam, if it's a different language, you just cannot speak that complete sentence in one go. You can take notes, you can try to memorize it, but the maximum you would be able to do is maybe just last couple of words which were actually memorized by you while that sentence was completing up. But there's no way you can complete that complete sentence, you can speak that complete sentence out if you do not know that particular language. So what does that explain to us? It simply explains that the English language, which we all know, if we know, that's why we're giving this exam, your level might be low, your level might be high. So that's not the point of this video. But my point is, because you know that language, computer is actually testing how well aware are you of the different phrases that they use on, that the phrases that you use on a day-to-day life, on a day-to-day basis. The moment you get that repeat sentence, your job is to take that sentence and divide it into different phrases. Could be 3 words, could be 4 words. It just depends the kind of a sentence. If the sentence was, today is a bright sunny day in Adelaide, the sentence is this, but then when my brain takes that sentence in, it breaks that sentence into 3 chunks. Today is a bright sunny day in Adelaide. So I broke that big sentence into 3 different phrases, and that's how my brain understands that sentence. I understand the meaning of the sentence, and when I have to reproduce that sentence, I combine all those 3 phrases and speak it out in one breath. So that's all that is happening in my brain all at once, instantly, in a second. Obviously that will come with practice, but you have to change your mindset first of all, that you're not going to memorize the sentences. I've seen so many students, what they do is they'll grab a prediction file from somewhere and start memorizing the sentences in a hope that they might end up getting those repeated sentences. Guys, look, I understand if you get a same sentence repeated, which you've already practiced a couple of times, yes, you might be able to speak half of it, even maybe full sentence, because you've already memorized it. But what are the chances of getting all the 10 to 12 sentences repeated? There's no chance that all the sentences would be repeated. Yes, maybe if you have practiced like 500 to 700 sentences of repeat sentence, you might end up getting like 4, 5, even 6 sentences repeated, and that will help you. But then there's no guarantee, and we can't really take that big of a risk. We are paying so much money for the exam. We can't risk it all by just going in the exam, sitting there in the hopes that, okay, I might end up getting the sentences repeated. That is not the way. So now after this video, when you actually sit down to practice for your repeat sentences, have a change in the mindset. Do not start memorizing a prediction file in the hope you'll get them repeated, but actually listen to a sentence, maybe note that down, maybe write those notes in your notebook first, or look at the script, break that sentence into different chunks, then try to speak out one sentence by combining all of them. For the starters, it might take you a good 1 to 2 minutes just to repeat one sentence, but that's okay, because right now we're just learning. More sentences you keep on practicing, there would be a point after a week or 2 weeks of practicing that you would be able to repeat majority of the sentences by taking as short amount of time as possible. And that is the best way for you to get your desired scores in the repeat sentence. Plus, there's no obligation for you to speak the complete content in repeat sentence to get your desired scores. Like I personally have received a perfect 90 in the listening module. Mohit has received a perfect 90 in the listening module. Countless students have received 90 in their PTE exam in the listening module. Does that mean that all of us spoke all the sentences perfectly? That is absolutely not possible. If someone out there says that if they have got a 90 and they do say to you that all the 10 sentences or 12 sentences they got in their real exam, they spoke all the content of all the sentences perfectly without missing a word, they're absolutely lying to you. That cannot happen. That is not human. Like human beings can't speak a sentence which is 15 or 16 words in one breath. That is absolutely not right. However, this is what Pearson also understands. That is why even if you maintain that 80% accuracy that we aim for, if you're someone who's aiming for 79 plus, let's talk about the highest score possible. Forget about 79, let's talk about getting a perfect 90. If you need a perfect 90 in the exam, if you get 10 sentences in the exam, out of 10, even if you speak 8 sentences perfectly, and 2 sentences, even if you spoke 50% of the content, that means half of the sentence, you can still get a perfect 90, not even 79. So if you need 79, out of 10 sentences, if you speak 7 sentences perfectly, 100% content, but other 3 sentences, even if you spoke 50% of the content, you're still going to get your 79. And for 65, out of 10 sentences, if you speak 5 sentences perfectly, 100% content, other 5 you speak even 50% of that, of the content in the other 5 sentences, you can still end up getting your 65. So this is how easy this task can be. Do not make it complex. I'm not saying it's very easy, and do not really practice that. You have to practice, but you have to make sure you practice in the right way as well. That is very important. So this is all what I wanted to share in this video, just to enlighten you a bit and give you a bit of a perspective of how to actually do the repeat sentences in your real exam. So from this point, I am hoping that you guys will not be memorizing the sentences, but actually taking the time out to understand the sentence, break it into chunks, combining it, and then speaking it out. Guys, all the best if you have got an exams coming soon. Any questions, feel free to put that in the comments down below. Stay safe wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video.